Good morning, everybody. Welcome. How's everyone doing? It's been almost 2 years since I took over as CEO of Mimecast, and not a day goes by that I don't count myself as lucky to have this role. It's a fantastic company. So it's great to be here today. Some of you may not realize that there are over 2,200 Mimecasters all around the world, and as we approach $1 billion in revenue, we're among the biggest cybersecurity companies in the world. So really great kept secret, ton of momentum behind the company. Over the last 2 years, we've been making so many changes and innovations. The leadership team and I felt now was the time to get together and tell all of our customers, you here in the room, 40,000 customers around the world, all the great things that have been happening. So before we get going into a quick overview that I'll provide, I want to just take a moment and express some gratitude. First and foremost, to our customers in the room and around the world. When I took on this role, the first thing I did is meet with as many customers as I could. I met with our customer advisory board. We actually had a meeting yesterday here in New York City, and I got some really straight feedback from our customers on what you were looking for. You were looking for renewed innovation in email security, and then expanding to help secure other risks in collaboration. And we went to work on that, and we got a lot to show you today that I think you're going to love. So that's the customers. Thank you so much for your partnership. I also want to thank our actual partners, our technology partners. Many of them are in the room helping to organize this, and then especially our go-to-market partners. Unlike some of our competitors, we only reach our customers through our partners, our resellers, our VARs. Thank you so much for your partnership. Speaking of partnership, I'm going to call out one person in the audience. Our founder, Peter Bauer, is here, and you all can, yeah. So I've been the CEO for 21 months, Peter for 21 years before me. I'm only the second CEO, and I really appreciate, Peter, the partnership, you being here today. Grab Peter in the hallways and over drinks. He's very keen to catch up. His travels took him to New York, so it's great to have him here. I also want to thank all the Mimecasters around the world. We've been driving a very exciting transformation and appreciate all your support. So with that in mind, I said the word transformation, and also I talked about our transformation towards this notion of securing human risk. Well, what is a better place to talk about transformation than New York City? I mean, we're in Hudson Yards right now. This barely existed as a location in New York City just a few years ago. And I think that's a story of New York City, a story of transformation, and also, you can imagine, of human risk. So indulge me with that. This is what New York City looked like when the Dutch explorers discovered it. Now, some of you may not realize, well, first of all, if you don't realize the Dutch settled New York, then you should leave right now. And if you look at my last name, you'll realize that I was actually born in the Netherlands. I grew up here living in Boston. But I always come to New York and I wonder, what did it look like when the Dutch explorers got here? Actually, I want a picture of just the forest and the beauty that must have been Manhattan. But clearly, a beautiful, beautiful scenery here. The Dutch built a society, a diverse society of traders and exchange. It was also a society built on a degree of trust. You might call it the first connected workplace. See what I'm doing there? And the New York transformation obviously has led to a very different skyline over the years. The history of transformation here continues. Mimecast is transforming from our leadership in human risk to in email security to a behemoth in human risk. And we're going to spend a lot of time talking about that. And to talk about human risk, let's give this arms and legs and describe what we mean by human risks. Human risk, in our view, is humans making mistakes, humans being targeted, and on occasions, humans being malicious. And again, what better city to talk about this type of risk than New York City, showing us human risk over the years. So I'll give these 3 examples of human risk, and hopefully we can bring it back to our daily lives. As I mentioned, it's a 400-year anniversary of the settlement of New York City. 1626, the Dutch came and they started to trade and to talk about purchasing the land. And they actually purchased this land here for 50 Dutch guilders, which is the equivalent of $24 in today's currency. Obviously, they purchase it from a local tribe. This metaphor may not be perfect, but let's call it the first example of human error here on Manhattan, okay? And that type of human error happens all the time in the office. It's one click, it's one bad choice, one careless moment by our employees, and suddenly human error has occurred. So that is the first example of human risk. If we fast forward into the 19th century of New York history, the ports were the target of all sorts of crime. There were criminals, robbers, and fraudsters. And these fraudsters tried to take advantage of weak controls and tried to take advantage of the people living here. Humans were being targeted, and they still are today. Criminals go where the weakness is. That's what they do. Centuries ago, it was smugglers at the port, and today, it's social engineering in your inbox. It's the same manipulation, just digital now. Humans are targeted. So that's the second type of human risk. The third is the malicious risk, right? In 2022, there was an insider attack at the New York Post. Internal hacktivists started posting all sorts of messages. There was a concern that it was infiltrated by hackers or hacktivists from the outside. Turns out to be a human on the inside of that employee of the New York Post that did this attack from the inside. And we see many examples of that all around the world, not just this type of hacktivist attack. It can also be taking intellectual property or data. So humans can also be malicious. One decision can change history. In cybersecurity, human actions still shape our future every day. Across 400 years of history, one lesson repeats itself. You have error, you have targeted attacks of humans, and then you have malicious behavior. And yet people are also resilient. Our job as leaders is to harness that resilience of humans and design systems that don't fail when humans do what humans do. Today, your workspace is everywhere. And like New Amsterdam, it runs on a degree of trust. But every 39 seconds, there's a breach. And if you look at the statistics from some of the analysts, 91% of breaches involve human activity. An average breach costs $5 million, single click, an insider mistake, coercion. Attackers don't really attack nowadays. You guys know this. They get to a human, and then they just log in, and they move. The villain we face, often the last mile of that villain, is that human risk and that human behavior. At Mimecast, we're not here to say that humans are the weak link. We think with the right actions, humans can become your strongest asset. There's a reason we call this conference Elevate, because we believe you need to elevate your people to be your strongest layer of defense. Now, as this picture shows, how do you know which of your users are risky? 8% of your users will cause 80% of the damage. And you know this person. You know the person in red, high-risk user at your organization. But how do you find that? We believe that if you have the visibility, the intelligence, and the control, you can turn human risk into resilience. That's our mission, human risk secured. And we've been building on this mission for 23 years, and we're really excited to unveil some of the progress we made with you here today. Now, I've been in cybersecurity for 25 years. It's a long time. I know I don't look that old. And in that history, I have had a chance to run a few companies, be in many different magic quadrants and segments of the space. And I don't know if you've noticed that your cybersecurity vendors tend to be organized by the layers of the OSI stack, the famous 7 layers of the OSI stack. roughly drawn on the slide here. You have your network players, your endpoint players, your identity players, your data players, your application players. They kind of group up and down the stack. And what about the 8th layer of that stack? What about the human layer? You can have all these wonderful controls, and these are logos of many of our amazing partners that help provide us insights and data and controls. But on top of that stack, you still have the human separated from their keyboard and mouse by mere millimeters, and they're either going to make a mistake, be targeted, or do something malicious. We think the next decade of cybersecurity is going to be focused on this human layer and getting this right. And when we talk about human activity, we're talking about the actions of the humans, how likely they are to be attacked, the access that they have, and the agentic AI that they're using. That's Mimecast's place in the cybersecurity industry, is this human layer. That music is not cued, but I appreciate it. Let me describe the Mimecast platform in a little bit of detail, and we are going to have some amazing sessions following up here from a number of speakers. Our platform, first and foremost, it starts obviously with email and collaboration threat protection. This is the roots of the company. Again, when I met our customers in the last 2 years, in the beginning of my time here, they said, double down on this segment of innovate and continue to be best in class here. And we've gone and done that, and we've extended that protection from email to Slack, Teams, and Zoom. Now, it turns out your users, your employees, spend about 28% of their day in email and collaboration apps. What are they doing the rest of the day? Well, we acquired a company called Code42 about 1.5 years ago, and that's our insider and insider risk product. And you're going to hear today about Code42 launching the first Gen AI-backed data loss protection capability. It's going to be very exciting. Rob Junker, who's the CTO of Code42 and the Chief Product Officer of Mimecast, will walk you through that. And the final part of what I call the control plane, where we can control these activities, is the data governance, compliance, and insight section. That's a mouthful. A lot of you will know this as archiving, email archiving, but you'll hear how we've extended that beyond email to archive all the collaboration data from Slack, Teams, and Zoom. And then instead of having just that Boolean ability to search for something when you're in an e-discovery mode, we now have added AI search to our e-discovery process. You can say, what behavior occurred yesterday that violated our corporate compliance policy? And that can literally be your search. And you will find what's happening in your organization, revolutionizing how you think about archive and how you think about e-discovery. You want to control the behavior, you want to make sure you block, you want to make sure you archive, but at the end of the day, you also need to change the behavior of your users. You're going to hear a lot of announcements in our security awareness training. We have added tons of content here, not just the infamous guy in the robe. We've added content in different cultures, for different scenarios. Double down there, and lots more nudging and ability to intervene with short moments to influence the behavior of your users. And then finally, our Human Risk Command Center. I'll talk more about this, but the Human Risk Command Center is that dashboard where you can see who is red, yellow, green, the 8% of your users that are the highest risk. So this is the Mimecast platform, and that's our mission, human risk secured. So what I want to do for a couple minutes is just give a preview of some of the announcements that we're making here at Elevate. And this slide is filling up with some of the innovations we've been working on in email security, our bread and butter part of the portfolio. We have been working our butts off on email security. I think we've done more innovation in email security in the last year than all of our competitors combined. I don't have enough time to go through all of this. You're going to hear about these innovations, but I'll give you a couple of teasers. One, the email archiving continuity. I just mentioned that with AI and sentiment search added into there. You're going to see a demo of that today. It's beautiful. We have totally revitalized the DMARC capability with the 2.0 capability, even more effective. None of our competitors have a DMARC product like this, super important part. We've added engines in email protection, advanced BEC. We'll be announcing account takeover today. We've changed how we do some of the URL scanning based on customer feedback, announcing that today. We have added the CISO value report. What is the CISO value report, you may be asking? Well, it's a chance for you to walk into your CISO or your CIO's office or even the CEO and board and show them, this is what Mimecast did. This is the threats that they stopped. If it wasn't for Mimecast, all this crap would be in all your inboxes. So it really allows you to speak to the value of what we're doing. We've changed and improved some of our gray mail capabilities, substantial improvement in this for your user experience, and a whole bunch of other changes. We have done so much. If any of you are paying extra for abnormally expensive security add-on capabilities that only do post-delivery, come to me. I can help you write a cancellation notice for that service. You're not going to need it anymore. We got you covered. An example of that Rob will go through later today is our multi-vector threat protection. This is a new AI engine that takes signals from all our other engines and provides another level of security. And it takes our detection levels to a whole new level of effectivity. And this is also available not just in email, but it will do the same thing in Teams and SharePoint. So really covering not just email, but your collaboration environment. Email is the #1 target, but collaboration is target #2. Mimecast protects all of this. One of my favorite parts of the portfolio is our Human Risk Command Center. First of all, it's got a very cool name. This is where you can see the riskiest users in real time. I said before, 8% of your users are causing 80% of the human risk. And with the Human Risk Command Center, you can see who those users are. You can start to take adaptive controls and training and nudges for the users that have the most risk. This command center has integrations with some of our top technical partners, AWS, Microsoft, CrowdStrike, SentinelOne, Netskope, Palo Alto, and of course, from our own capabilities feeding into this, provide this profile of users and where you should focus on human risk. So we're answering one of the hardest questions your board will ask you, which is how secure are we and where are the risks in terms of human risk? This command center is available for all of our customers today for free in the administrative console. Go check it out. Over 8,000 customers around the world are already using the Human Risk Command Center. If you haven't checked it out, literally a tab selection on your ad console. If you're an email customer or an awareness training customer, it's a super powerful capability that we've rolled out to our entire install base globally. Who has heard of AI? Obviously, AI is a huge opportunity, but it's also a risk. And you asked us to help you with this. Well, the Insider team ramped up capability in this area as well. Obviously, we're seeing employees take the most precious documents you had. We had one customer we saw take some of the most precious customer data and upload it into DeepSeek in that week of DeepSeek fervor and craze. Not a good idea. Luckily, backed by our AI engine, Insider is able to block this type of activity. So Mimecast Insider Risk detects and prevents this. And what's exciting about this is that the Insider platform does two things, and they're nuanced, but I think it's very important to think about. The platform prevents the use of unsanctioned AI, so your employees cannot use AI that you don't want them to use. But it also protects the data going into the sanctioned AI. Because even for sanctioned AI, you may not want all the medical records uploaded to that sanctioned AI. So that, I think you should let sink in, is the ability to control what is being used and control what is being uploaded, even if you are good with that AI engine. So you see there Mira AI. In 2025, AI is empowering both the attackers and the defenders. Mimecast has a huge advantage in this area. We process 12 billion signals per second to create a living map of workspace risk. And at this conference, we're announcing Mira, the Mimecast Intelligent Human Risk Agent. We've infused this agent, this AI, into our entire platform, and it's going to be incredibly powerful in terms of helping you predict what the human risk is, explain it clearly, nudge the users, block the actions. And this isn't some distant thing we're announcing that's available in 5 years. It's available now, and you'll see more about this later today. So, this is the Mimecast platform, a platform integrated with all the other layers of the cybersecurity stack that you're using. It's a platform that nudges and protects. It provides context, not noise, and it learns but doesn't blame. That, to me, is resilience. So with that in mind, I want to officially welcome you to Elevate 2025 in Hudson Yards, the newest chapter in New York's history, and hopefully you enjoyed the history lesson of this beautiful city. Over the next day and a half, this time is yours. Hands-on sessions, demos, certifications, discussions with your peers. Have an awesome time. 400 years ago, this city was built on resilience. It keeps reinventing itself. That's our story as well. Together with you, our customers, we're rewriting cybersecurity for the next era. We're turning risk into resilience. We're securing the human layer. This is Mimecast. Thank you.